Through the Ravine, welcome into the offseason as we talk about the top 10 free agents and where I think they're going. So let me know guys' thoughts down below in the comment section about my predictions and any predictions you guys may have as well for not only these players I list, but other players across the major leagues. Start off at number 10 here on my list. It's going to be Dylan Cease, coming off a year with San Diego, and Dylan Cease, who originally started in Chicago with the White Sox, went over to San Diego, had a pretty good stint there for a year. The past season and the past couple seasons has struggled with the Padres. He's still going to get his strikeouts. He's a big-time strikeout pitcher, a big wipeout slider, but what you're going to get out of him, definitely not an ace that may have projected years ago. The rotation type of guy, a really good forward. Have him going to Houston makes a lot of sense. Framber Valdez on the market, so I think they need a pitcher, and I think Dylan Cease fits that role in Houston. Number 9 on my list is going to be a member from Japan. It's Munetaka Murakami. Now, this guy was first showcased in the WBC in 2023 and made a big impact for a team in Japan. And he's coming to the big leagues in 2026, and he's already been posted, so he has like about 35 days left to get signed to a team. So he'll get signed here very quickly. And where is Murakami going? Well, for me, I think it's got to be the New York Yankees. The Yankees have been feeding for a superstar level player. I want to call Murakami that. I think Murakami kind of fits there with the Yankees in that lineup, in that whole system in the Bronx Zoo, and I think Murakami to the Yanks makes a lot of sense. Number 8 on my list is also a New York player, this time with the Mets. It's Pete Alonso, and where is Pete Alonso going? Will it be a lifelong Mets? Meant to be. I'm going to say no. I think it's going across the West Coast to San Diego with the Padres. I think the Padres are in need of a bats. They're in need of a first baseman, and I think Pete Alonso fits that role perfectly. Pete Alonso in San Diego, it just makes too much sense. Number 7 on my list is going to be Kyle Schwarber, and Kyle Schwarber finished in seconds in the MVP voting this year behind Shohei Ohtani, so no shame in that. Where is Kyle Schwarber going? Well, at this stage in his career, I have him re-signing with the Philadelphia Phillies. This is a Phillies team that's, if you want to say the window is closing, you could say that's, if they want to keep going for it, they should very well keep going for it because it's going to be closing here soon if it's not already closing. So I think they get Kyle Schwarber back. He's a big bats, and they need him. 50-plus homers this year. You don't just replace that. So I think Kyle Schwarber goes back to the Phillies. Number 6 on my list is going to be Bo Bichette of the Toronto Blue Jays. Bo Bichette, his contract is finally up. Remember, Bo Bichette, part of the Baby Jays, and him and Vladdy's not re-signed with the Jays long-term. Bo Bichette will at least sign long-term in Toronto, coming off a Game 7 World Series loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Bo Bichette was phenomenal in that World Series, coming off injury, did not play the last couple months of the season, returned for the World Series, and was a big threat in that Jays lineup. Is he going to return to Toronto? I think it's certainly a possibility. If he wants to go back there, I think the Jays would be open to that. I think there's a perfect opening there in Atlanta. I think he wants to go down south, play with the Braves, be the long-term shortstop for the Atlanta Braves. I think Bo Bichette fits that role perfectly, so I have Bo Bichette going to the Atlanta Braves. Number 5 on my list is going to be Tatsuya Ime. Tatsuya Ime, if I say that correctly. We'll learn his name here shortly, but Tatsuya Ime coming over from Japan as well, a pitcher, 27 years of age. Not going to be some superstar pitcher, the likes of Yamamoto and Sasaki, but certainly a good pitcher and a pitcher that is ready to be a win-now contending team and, fill into the middle rotation at the minimum for any baseball team in the big league. So where's Ime going? I have him going to Anaheim with the Angels. I think this is a classic Angels type of signing. They lose Kyle Hendricks, and I think if they add Ime, I think they might put some hype in that fan base, especially in the Japanese market. So Tatsuya Ime, I have him going to the Angels. Number 4 on the list is going to be Framber Valdez, coming off a year at Houston, and his contract is up with the Astros, and I think that's relationship is also up with the Astros. He's not some frontline type of guy. He's not your number 1. Could be number 2. I'd say he's a more safe number 3 play. Has really good days, has some really bad days. I think a good median with Framber Valdez. And for Framber Valdez, I have him going to the Chicago Cubs. I think the Cubbies could use some pitching and some really good pitching, and I think Framber Valdez would be fine with the Cubbies. So I'm going to the confines of Wrigley Field. The list is going to be Alex Bregman. Where is Breggy going? So he opts out with the Boston Red Sox, and speculation once again happens with Bregman. Where is he going to sign long term? And for me, it's a no-brainer. He has to go back to Boston. I think Bregman kind of fit well in Boston. It kind of worked out after some speculation that it might not. After a really good run in Houston, but he worked out in Boston, and I think it's the right fit for him, and I think Bregman re-signs with the Boston Red Sox. Number 2 on my list is going to be Cody Bellinger, and I will say this off the bat, I think Cody Bellinger worked out really well in New York. It was no surprise for me that Bellinger worked out with the Yankees, and that short porch in right field, got his power back, 24, 25 plus home runs, whatever it was. So Bellinger was a nice fit with the Yankees. Punch to judge, if you will. Not the MVP type of player that he was in 2019, but still a really solid big leaguer, all-star caliber player, I would say. And where is Cody Bellinger going? This is going to be a homer take, but I have him coming back home to the Dodgers. If they want to do it, it's right there on the table. If they both want to come together, it's right there. The Dodgers could 100% use an outfielder, years of control, and Bellinger still fits the mold at 30 years of age or whatever he is. And, sign him to a 5-6 year deal. I think it'd be fine. And Bailey Bombs back in LA, one of my favorite Dodgers of all time. I would be thrilled with that. And especially after we had Conforto, I mean, man, what talk about an upgrade. And we still won the World Series. So having Bellinger back in the outfield would be amazing defensively, offensively. Bellinger and the Dodgers want to come together. I'd really appreciate that. And the number one big fish for the agents in this offseason, it's going to be Cal Tucker. Tucker coming off of a year with the Cubbies, which he was traded from the Astros to the Cubs in his last year of control. The Cubs had a pretty good year out of Cal Tucker. I think Cal Tucker was a good fit with the Cubbies. And I think if Cal Tucker wants to go back to the Cubs, I don't see why the Cubs wouldn't re-sign him long term. I think it worked out. The Cubs made the postseason this year, had a good little run in it. So I think if Cal Tucker and the Cubs want to come together, make a deal work, I think it's right there for them. But I have Cal Tucker once again. I'm going to do this, and I don't know why I keep doing this, but I feel like it's just a matter of time before the Giants land somebody. Now, they landed Correa, but that fell through and, whatnot. But I guess Willie Adames does not really count. But Cal Tucker going to the Giants, it makes sense. You have the right field McCovey Cove there. I can see him hitting bombs in McCovey Cove. His swing kind of plays perfectly there, right field. Cal Tucker to the San Francisco Giants is my dark horse of the offseason. I think if he wants to go back to the Cubs, it's right there for them. So Tucker to the Giants will be my predictions, but let me know your predictions down below in the comment section as we begin the 2026 offseason.